I'm really excited for Pete to be here with us today. He's a YouTube creator and consultant. He's had over 160 million views across multiple channels, and he's helped build the biggest channel on YouTube before it was sold in 2016. So I'm really excited that Pete's with us here today. Without any further ado, I'm going to pass over to him, and I'm looking forward to this exciting masterclass. If you're watching on the replay, hello and welcome.
Well, that was an amazing introduction. Thank you, Joe. I shall endeavour not to disappoint. May I ask that this become a interactive session, so people just chime in if you've got questions and things. It's much more fun that way, and also it means that I can address issues that everybody has, because everybody does YouTube differently, and that's one of the great things about this platform, is that it can be so many different things to so many different people. So I'm going to share my screen and let's get started. Just one moment. Let's assume that this will work. Control Zoom. Okay. I'm better at YouTube than I am at PowerPoint, don't worry. And I don't want this to be death by PowerPoint, but I want to make sure that I deliver upon the promise, which is a big thing that you'll get used to if you go into YouTube. It's all about delivering on promises. So this is what I promised to cover. I won't read all of the slides, but we're going to go through a number of different points. Something which is not on the slides, and somewhere I always like to start because I think it's really important, is why YouTube? There's lots of stuff where we can talk about tactics, but why YouTube? Why bother with it? If there's no point bothering with it, then it's a waste of time, isn't it? Let's go through. Here's some facts. I'm an engineer. I like facts. I'll let you wade through the numbers if you like. Again, not much point me reading slides, but there are a couple of points in here which I think are very salient to us. Just over 50% of views are people who have disposable income and checkbooks, i.e. they're in the ranges of 35 to 65. There's a lot of youngsters on YouTube. And in fact, many of the people that watch my videos are between the ages of 0 and 5 years old, because I make children's nursery rhymes on one of my channels. At least now, kids of that age don't have wallets and they don't spend. The parents do, or guardians do, but lots and lots of people are between the ages of 35 and 65 and are in the B2B sector looking to spend their money. And it's typically where people go nowadays to do research and get to know people before they spend money with them. I'm going to show you an example of that later on. I want you to start thinking of YouTube as your avatar, your robot self who is out there networking upon your behalf, getting to know, or getting people to know, like, and trust you whilst you're asleep, or like me, perhaps in the pub, doing anything else apart from being on sales calls. I know some people enjoy doing sales calls, and if you're one of them, then no need to stop. But I also know a lot of people, myself included, absolutely hate doing sales calls. Can I just have a show of hands? Who loves doing sales calls? Didn't see a single hand, you see. Who would prefer if they'd never had to do a sales call again? Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, the great thing about YouTube, as we'll see later on, is you don't sell. What you do is you educate, and you put your wisdom out there, and you let the YouTube algorithms be the sales prospecting team for you. They do it free of charge. In fact, it's less than free of charge, because if you do it right, they'll even pay you. So that's not bad, is it? A sales force that pays you. Wow, I wish I'd got one of those when I was in business 20 years ago. Lots of all this kind of stuff. But you know what? All of these numbers, they actually really don't matter that much. They don't matter that much to us. But I'm going to show you a slide that does matter. I want you to take some inspiration from this if you are not on YouTube, or if you're on YouTube with a small channel. This is a lady that I worked with over in the States last year. Absolutely lovely, lovely person. When she first came to me, she was very nervous about being seen on film. She was completely overwhelmed by the sort of technical aspects of YouTube. But the reason I love her to bits is that she doesn't give up, and she just keeps creating content and learning from not her mistakes, because there's no such thing as a mistake, but learning how to do things better based upon the feedback that YouTube give her. Great thing about YouTube is in the analytics, it will tell you everything that you need to know if you read them and are prepared to course correct based upon the information that it gives you. Now, her channel isn't huge. Even now, her channel isn't huge. I think last time I looked, it was less than 200 subscribers. I think about 170,000, sorry, 170 subscribers. But she's already getting work as a result of people having seen her on YouTube. And that's why I say all of those big numbers on the previous slide don't matter. Who cares if there's billions of people watching? Who cares if there's hundreds of hours being uploaded every second? What we care about is whether or not YouTube will work for us in our particular business circumstances. Now, Alfie is a business coach. She's very spiritual. She's into the Christian niche. And the way that her videos are optimized means that the YouTube algorithms are showing her videos to prospects that are likely to want to buy from her with her particular characteristics. Now, I'm not her target market. I'm not religious and I'm not female. So YouTube isn't showing her videos to me. But what YouTube is doing is showing her videos to people who are likely to be her prospects. And this is the great thing. As I'm going to show you later on, we can train the YouTube algorithms to put our videos in front of people who are likely to buy from us. So forget now about needing millions and millions of views. Forget now about needing millions of subscribers. I'm here to tell you, you don't even need subscribers. In fact, subscribers is, I'm just going to close Slack down because it's going to keep clicking all the time. Subscribers is one of the biggest misnomers on YouTube. Everybody talks about subscriber numbers. Everybody is obsessed with getting more and more subscribers. YouTube itself rewards you by sending golden plaques when you get to 1 million subscribers or 10 million subscribers. But nobody has ever earned any money at all from a subscriber. What you earn the money from is the views, the view time, and people who reach out to you because they know, like, and trust you when they come and start to talk to you about engaging to buy your services. So this is what I mean about the prospecting. The alternative to this is other social media platforms, or doing telesales and trying to get to know them that way. Or, goodness forbid, has anyone ever been to a BNI meeting? BNI breakfast meeting? Did that work for you? No. I did BNI. I did BNI for 2 years. Religiously, I never missed a single one, and I made £143 of incremental business, and that was business that I didn't want, but I did because otherwise it would have been letting the side down. I don't prospect for business now, and often I've earned more than that by the time I've woken up, never mind about got to a BNI meeting. Forget BNI, just don't do it. Concentrate on YouTube, and you'll be building an asset that will be selling for you while you're asleep, so you don't have to get up and have a disappointing breakfast in a boring pub. Anyway, I'm not bitter. It's just I think that businesses, the market rewards efficiency. Networking to me has always seemed just such a waste of time, because often you're talking to lovely people who are never going to buy your services or your products in a million years because they simply don't need them. YouTube will go out and find people that do need them. You can read what it says on the slide. Basically, she's already getting clients coming in. And I'm not selling you on doing YouTube. I'm just showing you what's possible for someone who, before they started, had never done a video and was terrified of doing one. So here's what YouTube allows you to do. You can start to build an asset from your knowledge, from your unique skills, from your gifts. The problem with doing consultancy, as I've always found, is that it's time exchange for money. And it might be good rates. You know, you can charge very good rates and there's lots of people out there that will teach you how to charge ridiculous rates. I've seen them on Facebook. But at the end of the day, there's only so many hours in the day. There's only so many hours that you're going to have a pulse, frankly, because the moment that you stop earning or stop working, you stop earning. What YouTube will allow you to do is turn that time sensitive activity into an asset that will then work for you when you stop doing that. If you take it to its extreme, Joe mentioned at the beginning that a channel that I was involved in was sold. what that was sold on was based upon recurring revenues coming into the channel once the content had even, they weren't making any further content. So if you think about it, you're building an asset that you can sell. There are some other advantages, and one of the points on here is that it will allow you to serve people who can't afford you. Now, I take this quite seriously because there's lots of lovely people in the caring professions, in the helping sector, in the coaching sector, who have great stuff, but which could benefit a lot of people, but those people just haven't got the budget to pay for it. So what do? You either do it pro bono, or people with real needs and people who could benefit from your services miss out on that. Well, the great thing about YouTube is that YouTube pays you. So some of your content, if you put it out there, can be consumed by people who really need it, possibly people who have no money or in a bad situation, but you're not working for free. YouTube is paying you. And I really love that, because it means that you can serve people and reach people who you wouldn't be able to do economically without a platform such as YouTube. I put in here that it's cheaper than free, in that most platforms that you put content out there, whether it's ones that you put your, what do they call them, digital courses on there, you have to pay every month to hire it. I think Kajabi, things like that, etc. But YouTube will actually pay you to put your content on YouTube. That's how it works. So the rest of the comments on there, the rest of the things you can see on there are fact, but I particularly like this one because it means that you can reach people and help people who can't afford you. It also makes it really easy for people to refer you. So, it used to be, well, have they got a website? Yes, here's a link. Your YouTube channel, and there's a couple of hundred videos on there. A potential prospect can spend significant amounts of time with you and therefore already know you very well when you speak to them. I did have personal anecdote here. I was at Green Park Tube, and I used to do quite a lot of business advice videos. And this bloke ran up to me and shook my hand and said, "I know you. I used to watch your videos when you were fat," and then ran off. And I have no idea who he was. I have no idea which videos he's watched, but he clearly thought that he knew me just because of having watched the videos. He didn't buy anything from me, but anyway, at least he said I wasn't still fat, which was good. So let's talk about the types of videos, because this is a big barrier that you can do. I'm going to knock some excuses over, because here's what most people say. I can't do YouTube because I don't have the right equipment. I need a new phone. I need a new camera. I need some lighting. I need a green screen. I need a microphone. Oh, no, you don't. If you've got a smartphone and you've got the guts and you're not too chicken to press record, you can literally make an award-winning channel on a smartphone. All of the videos that I did until fairly recently were done on an iPhone 5, not even an iPhone 5S, just the lowest level smartphone that's probably still supported by iOS. Many of my friends use Android. I don't use Android, but the point that I'm making here is that when I hear people talking about gear, then it usually means that they're not doing it because of one word. Can anyone think what that word is? It rhymes with gear.
Fear.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you're talking about gear, what you're really doing is talking about fear. So everybody who's on this Zoom call right now, by definition, has everything that they need in order to make a video. Now, let's say that you really don't want to appear on video. You really don't want to do that. And there are some good reasons perhaps why you wouldn't. Selling the channel might be one thing. If the nursery rhyme channels and things which I've been involved in, they're animations. So you can't do those with the camera. You actually have to use software. So I want to introduce software here, which will allow you to make videos which are called faceless videos. And we normally say these are perfect for people with a face for radio. So you really don't need to appear on camera. What you're doing in here is encapsulating your knowledge, your expertise, and your skills, and making videos using software. What I did, and Joe, I hope this is okay, but before this call, I went onto your website and I looked and I found a blog post and I made a video from that blog post. So if you'll indulge me for a moment, I'll show you what I mean by way of example. So this is a video. I won't play all of it, but this is a short video that I made just by putting a blog post in.
Physology with Joe Soli, using the powers of numerology to elevate your business success. I have been on a deep and fulfilling journey studying, working with and understanding numerology for over 4 years now. Understanding your numbers is a journey.
So you can see what it's doing, basically.
The more we learn and apply the learning, the more we understand the subtleties of the numbers. The more we understand the subtleties of the numbers, the more we can really connect to the following. Who we are. How we tick.
Anyway, I won't get boring with it, but that was literally taking a blog post and...
Oh, I love it. Thanks. Yeah, it's clever.
You're welcome. I'll send it to you. It's the concept here is that you take a blog post or you take a script and you put it into software, and then you present the video on your channel as being your encapsulated wisdom, as opposed to putting your face on it. There are advantages and disadvantages to both of them. If you're in a personal business and you want to connect directly with your audience, then I would suggest doing it using an iPhone or a webcam, etc. But there's no harm in mixing it up and putting these kind of videos out there, because it's a very quick and easy way of producing reasonably professional looking videos which encapsulate the knowledge that you want to share. Now, this has got a computer voice on it, but you could upload your own voice rather than using an AI voice. So there's two excuses knocked over. One is I don't have the right equipment. Well, yes, you do. And secondly is I'm too chicken to press record and put my face out there. Well, there you go. There's another way of doing it.
Sorry, Marina's just asked, is that free?
Oh, free? I believe it is. I think there's a free trial, but at the end, I'll give you a discount code that makes it free-ish, or as near as damn it. Anyway, it's not a sales pitch for that software. There's lots of different pieces of software out there that do it. But the point is, it's the approach that I want you to understand. You can either put your face on it or you can have a faceless channel. Either way, it's starting to knock down excuses and lower barriers. Okay, so the next point I want to talk about is why you should work with YouTube's algorithms as opposed to try and work against YouTube's algorithms. If you go onto Fiverr and lots of other sites, Fiverr's a freelancer site, there'll be all sorts of people that are going to try and sell you hacks and shortcuts and tricks to try and trick the algorithm into giving you lots of subscribers and lots of views. Remember what I said about subscribers, incidentally, they don't matter. Honestly, having been doing this for years, it really isn't worth trying any of those tricks, because even if they work for a short period of time, you're not going to beat the algorithm, because the algorithm is created by people with brains the sizes of planets and PhDs, and there's lots and lots of them. You're not going to be smarter than the people that produce the algorithm. And the real win is not trying to beat it, but as I'm going to show you in a moment, training it to know you and know who your prospects are, and then go out and find more of them. You'll get far more benefit from working with the algorithm rather than trying to beat the algorithm. And when you do it right, these are the sort of results that you can expect. The first graph at the top here is the reach of the videos. And what that means is this is the algorithm going out and putting your videos in front of people who are likely to watch it based upon the profile that YouTube has built up of both your video content and also the profile of the videos that the prospects are watching. And it's ever so clever. It amazes me every day just how good this is, and it's getting better and better. It will seek out people that are likely to want to watch your video. And the reason that YouTube's so good at it is it knows that if people stay on YouTube watching videos, then it will make more money through advertising. And if you're part of the AdSense program, it means that you will also make more money as a result of people watching your videos. YouTube gives you 55% of the money that it gets from advertisers. Just gonna, so someone called Judith is just wanting to join, so I'll admit her as well. So your objectives of having people watch your videos and YouTube's objectives of having people watch your videos are perfectly aligned. So what you want to do is work in synergy with the algorithm so that you both get the reach and you both get paid. At the bottom here, you can see that when you do this right, then the blue line is new people that have never watched your video before. And then the purple line is the people that are coming back every time you produce a video and start to enjoy them and become repeat viewers. Incidentally, people that come back and watch your videos are not necessarily subscribed. In fact, in most cases with successful channels, 90% or more of the people that watch your videos will not be subscribers. So that's why I say, please don't get fixated on subscribers. They mean nothing. What you want is a loyal tribe who are following you and coming back and eating up your content and hopefully recommending you to other people. Right, let's have a look. So how then do we train the algorithm to work for you so that we don't have to work against it and try and beat it? It's actually really simple. You don't need clever tricks. All you need to do is be very clear about who you are. Make sure that your channel is branded and contains a benefits statement, and you're very clear about the promise and you deliver on the promise. I want to say this tactfully, because I don't want to cause offense, but a lot of people are quite self-obsessed with what they're interested in and what they're passionate about and their business and them. Sorry to break it to you, but people don't care. What you've got to do is put yourself in your potential prospects' shoes and think, what is the benefit to me of spending 10 minutes of my life watching your video compared to 10 minutes of my life watching somebody else's video or doing something entirely different? So your channel is called a channel for a reason. It's a little bit like a channel on the TV. Who's old enough to remember BBC One, BBC Two, and ITV? We had 3 channels. Yes, me too. Yeah, I had 3 channels when I was a kid. You knew that BBC Two was for the grown-ups and it'll be all open university stuff. BBC One, you might get Bruce Forsyth. Is he on BBC? I don't know. And you got adverts on the other one, which are often better than the TV programming. But you were very clear that what was on each channel was what you were going to get, and therefore you wouldn't necessarily go to BBC Two if you wanted to watch the kind of content that was likely to be on BBC One. It's the same thing with channels, really. There's many more channels now. On the Netflix channels, you know that if you go to the documentary part, you're going to get documentaries, comedy, etc. You've got to be clear about who you are. And once you've got that, then we need to express that in your branding and some other optimization areas of the channel, which I'll come on to in a moment. All of your individual videos should contain keywords that people are looking for. People make a big mistake in that they don't think about what the audience is searching for when they come up with titles for their video. In fact, I go so far as to say, unless I know people are searching for it, I don't make the video in the first place. So find out what they want, give it to them, rinse, repeat, buy a big house. That's the key to success in business, and that's the key to success on YouTube. Find out what they want, make the video, and then hopefully the money will come in and you can buy a big house. So it's all about demand and supply. When you're at school, you talked about supply and demand. Wrong way around, demand and supply. Great thing about YouTube is it will tell you what people are looking for, and we can then go and make the videos that serve the people that we want to help. Description should contain keywords, chapters, all this is techie stuff. Last most important thing is the thumbnail. There's no prizes for being subtle. We've got to be eye-catching but honest. So no clickbait. So make sure that what's in your thumbnail you deliver upon in your video, because that way you'll get your watch time up to the highest. That means that the algorithms will start to recommend you. Why have I got a rabbit and a pony on there? Well, what I want you to understand is to really make the algorithms fall in love with you, you've got to be a one-trick pony. Doesn't necessarily mean you've got to be the best at performing that trick, but it does mean that you've got to become well known for performing that trick. So being the expert in that space in a way which is consistent and sets you apart from the competition. So what many people do is they try and do all things, all lots and lots of different things on the same channel. And it really doesn't work, because people want to tune in to find out exactly, or to find more information about the topic that they're interested in and that you're known for. Somebody I hear was into cakes. Is that right? Who was the cakes lady?
Sarah.
Sarah
Sarah's
It's me,
Sarah.
sorry. I've got on running around after the puppy at the same time as listening to you.
Okay, well, this is really good, actually. So you've got cakes and you've got a puppy, right? Both of those two are amazing niches for YouTube if done right. But I love cakes, but I'm not particularly interested in puppies. And there'll be other people that really love puppies, but are on a diet and don't really want to eat cakes, say. Those two, if you try and mix them on the same channel, are likely to not be successful. But if you were to do two separate channels, one all about cakes and one all about puppies, there's no reason why both of those channels can't be very successful, so long as you keep them narrow and you keep them targeted. So by one trick, I mean one niche or one area of expertise. You don't necessarily have to be the best at it. Who can remember Tommy Cooper? Do you remember Tommy Cooper, the comedian? Yeah, he made a career out of being terrible, didn't he? He couldn't do the tricks, but we all tuned in because we knew that he was going to mess it up. Now, he was a brilliant man, and actually a very clever magician. But the point is, he wasn't necessarily the slickest performer by any means, but he had his niche, and his niche was being someone who messed things up in an entertaining way, bless him. I think he died, didn't he, on stage, which was probably fitting, but yeah, I do miss him. Anyway, so know who you are, and then make sure that you have a clear brand promise. And the way that you express that on YouTube is in two key areas, usually overlooked. The first one is the about section. You probably can't see this very well because I know it's quite small, but this is on a love advice channel that I created based upon knowing that people were searching for love advice. Let's go through some of the elements. First element is, well, where is it? The name of the channel, 60-second love advice. So if you saw that in somebody's comments, what would you think that the channel was about?
love advice.
Love advice. If I'd have called it Pete's channel, then there would be no indication in the channel name that I would be producing love advice. So by having a channel name and a logo which are evocative of your niche, then straight away you're giving people clues that if they come to my channel, then they can expect love advice. I mean, this is very specific, isn't it? 60-second love advice. In the about section, I then talk about what the promise is if you come and watch my videos. Love, dating, and relationship advice in 16 seconds or less without the fluff. So you're either interested in it or you're not. If you're interested in it, you might hang around and watch some of the videos. If you're not, then I'm not going to waste your time anymore. And you'll go and find out something that you are interested in. Maybe cakes, maybe puppies. But be clear, be consistent, and reflect that in the channel art. Now, I'm not putting this as a massively good example. I'm not very graphically gifted, but this channel art is representative or attractive to the kind of demographics that I'm serving, which is typically younger people. And I can tell that from the analytics. I can tell that it's typically younger people. And surprisingly, often it's more girls than boys. And YouTube tends to be slightly male oriented, but again, everything is in the analytics. What you do is you produce content that is going to be attractive to your audience. So, if I was in a different niche, I'd go for an entirely different looking, look and feel. But please concentrate on your about section. This is the place to start. Unless you can articulate what you do and the benefits to the people who are going to come and watch your videos, then the rest of it will be very difficult and you're unlikely to succeed. So when I work with clients, this is where we start. It's nothing to do with videos. It's all about articulating in words what you're about, and then we can move on to producing videos. Any questions before I move on? No? Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, hang on. I've got a question.
Mhm.
So if my channel, Bizology with Joe Soley, that doesn't tell you what it is if you don't know what Bizology is.
Exactly.
So would you say something like business numerologist?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I've been thinking about calling myself as well.
Yeah. I mean, the channel name, you know, it can be quite long. So you could call it Business Numerology with Joe, but people won't know what Bizology is. Therefore, they won't be searching for it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You know, when you're a big brand, I guess, IBM wouldn't need to call themselves International Business Machines and Computers because everybody knows what the brand is. But when we're first starting off, we want to be very clear and unambiguous. So I would definitely suggest that. Yeah. So once we've come up with some channel art, then I mentioned thumbnails, didn't I? These are the thumbnails that I use on the channel. Again, I don't find them particularly attractive, but they speak directly to the audience, which in this case is young people in America, predominantly. They're not subtle. They're very in your face because that's what the audience wants, but they're quite consistent. So if you saw these thumbnails in a list of other thumbnails, the fact that I have similar backgrounds and similar style of graphics, you'd easily be able to recognize mine amongst the crowd, wouldn't you? And that's what you want to be aiming for, is a consistent brand that you can express within the thumbnail so that people can see and choose yours, because they'll have watched previous videos of yours and like them. We want to make it really easy for them to jump in and watch the next one. And there are all sorts of techniques and things that can improve the probability of them seeing yours, but at its very simplest, you want to make sure that you stick out like a sore thumb. The titles, again, these are keyword rich. I know that people are searching for how to get their ex back. I know that they're searching for all sorts of things in that space. You'll notice that there are quite a lot of videos all on a very similar subject. That's okay. Never be afraid of making the same video twice, but with a different take on it. One of the very popular techniques in the relationship advice space is something called the no contact rule, which basically means if you get dumped, don't call them. It's that simple. It really is. That's all there is to it. And I must have made 30 or 40 videos on that very subject with different takes on it. So you have to be quite creative. And one problem as a creator is it can get a little bit dull sometimes, having to go over the same ground over and over again. But that is the price of success, folks. Once you get big, then you can start doing what you want as opposed to just what the audience want.
So is this you in these videos talking about the non-contact rule?
No, I use that software.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I write the scripts. It takes me if it takes me 20 minutes start to finish, I'd be surprised. And I used to do one every day. I haven't done one recently because since I started working with other clients, I'll be honest, I just couldn't be bothered. But I'll pick it up again. What you can do, and what I will do with this eventually, once I get round to it, is you outsource it. So you hire people to write the scripts, you hire people to make the videos, you hire people to upload it, and you just sit there and take the cash. But that's a level of organization which is a bit grown up for me at the moment. I'm just having fun doing other things. But you know, people make 100,000 a month doing that. Any questions before I move on?
Okay. No, Nadine's just joined us from Dubai.
Oh, never been to Dubai. That sounds lovely. Hello, Nadine.
Hi.
Right.
She's working out there.
Ah, how lovely. Exciting. Okay, so it is recorded, by the way, so you can go back and watch them later. I haven't missed anything. So what's on the next slide? Ways to make money. Who'd like some more money? Whose bank account is full? Let's just put the heating bills up by 58%. I think we can all do with some more money coming in, can't we? So let's go through different ways of monetizing your channel. First one, AdSense. AdSense is YouTube paying you 55% of the money that they get from advertisers in its simplest form. Advantage of that is if you do this right, you can make a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money. You get roughly, depending on your niche, at the bottom end, somewhere between $5, at the top end of, depending on your niche, $50 per 1,000 views. So people with calculators could work out how many views they would need in order to make a lot of money. And it's not that many if you're in the niches towards the top end of that, which are typically luxury goods, financial services, some of the things around retirement. Retirement is a very hot niche at the moment because basically people with grey hairs have checkbooks. So advertisers are prepared to pay a lot of money to get in front of them. All sorts of stuff. Property is very big. There's lots of different niches. But if you think about, just run the numbers, how many views would you need to get in order to cover your gas bill? More now than perhaps a couple of months ago, but it's easy to make money on that. Patreon is another thing. I like to think of it as kind of digital begging, where it's a platform that if people like your content, they can give you tips. There's another one actually, which has just popped up recently called Ko-fi, C-O-F-I. And I know someone who's making a couple of $1,000 a month by people buying him a coffee when they watch his videos. Sponsorship, this is great. Once you start getting a reasonable channel, people will approach you and offer you money to sponsor their products or endorse their products. Handle with care, because if you're not careful, you can end up getting a reputation of being someone who recommends anything, as long as people will cross your palm with silver. But if it's products that you really do use and would like to endorse, then yeah, you can make a healthy income from that. Selling someone else's products, you've probably heard of that as affiliate sales. So in your description, if you're talking about a product or recommending a product, doesn't have to be yours, can be someone else's, and you can make great money on that. People do a lot on Amazon with that. I've never done that myself, but I know people recommending Amazon products can make a lot of money. Merchandise, get your t-shirts, sell your merchandise, sell your mugs, sell your own digital product. You guys probably know more about this stuff than me. I've never done selling digital products. Sell your channel. Yeah, sell the channel. If it's a faceless channel, yeah, multiple tens of millions of pounds or dollars are not unusual in channel sales, because what advertisers will do is continue to advertise on that channel, and purchasers will buy for multiples of revenue. In the business world, I think we call it EBITDA. So you'll get multiples of EBITDA. Yeah, sell it for, I don't know, 35 million, buy some Bitcoin. That's all you need to do then, isn't it? Apparently. You can build your email list. I haven't got one of those, but I know a lot of people like those. But also you can hang out with your prospects 24/7. So, they will buy from you. The balance of power is reversed. You're no longer chasing. You will be, fending them off with a stick, if you get this right. Which end of the stick is up to you. Here's why most people fail at YouTube. And I alluded to some of this earlier on. I did ask people in one of my communities why they're not doing YouTube. And here's some reasons. And I think the genuine reasons: fear of ridicule. Fear, isn't it? We talked about it earlier on. Fear of technology. Don't want to appear in public. These are all valid reasons not to do it. I like Grant because he doesn't want to. Fair enough. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. It doesn't have a face for TV. Do you recognize yourself in there, perhaps? Don't know. No shame in it. I mean, everyone's different. If you don't want to do it, then that's as valid as being scared of doing it.
I think what Linda says, overwhelmed, so many things to do, make a website to link to it. I've got the videos, but then uploading the channel art, it just feels like another massive job.
Yeah, and I think some people over-engineer it. I think in the past, particularly, people have wanted to do things too professionally and ended up spending a lot of time, effort, and money and getting worse results. The best results that I've ever had, and some of my clients have had, is with a smartphone, walking around the park, talking into it, and then uploading it with very little editing, if at all, just topping and tailing it, because it's all about being authentic. The great thing about doing things while you're walking around the park or on the beach or wherever else is two things. One is the context is giving you permission to drop your production standards. So if you're walking around the park and a dog barks, then you don't need to start all over again because it's spoilt it because you're walking around a park, and in the park, dogs bark. If you're in a green screen studio paying £500 a day, with your best frock on and your professional microphones and green screens and everything, and a motorbike goes by, and you don't do a retake, then it looks like you're trying to be professional and failing. But if you don't set yourself up for failure in the first place and are just you, and to heck with the perfection, then you'll get better engagement because it's you being real and raw. So, I would say that's the biggest reason to just press record and do it. The other thing about walking is people love to go on a journey with you. I don't understand why. I'm sure there are people on this call that are far cleverer than me in that respect, but people like to follow you when you go on a journey. So walk around the park and, talk about the flowers, whatever, just be you. And don't over-engineer the editing. Literally on any smartphone, you can top and tail it and upload it. And often you can do it directly from the phone. You don't even need to upload it to your computer first nowadays. Does that make you feel any more comfortable, Joe? Does that remove that excuse?
So when I'm brilliant on a podcast, put me in front of video, I just forget what I'm saying. So then I downloaded what's it called, teleprompter.
Yeah.
So then I thought, not in teleprompter. So I put that on and I paid for it. And then I uploaded the script to teleprompter. And then what happens, the side of the video goes, it's all funny. So it just looks rubbish. So then this sounds like an excuse, but it just, it doesn't work. So I'm going to probably do it without the teleprompter, just speak like I would, without the script.
I would definitely suggest doing that. And there's two things to remember here. Just because you press record doesn't mean you need to upload. So if you mess it up, nobody knows because no one's ever going to see it. Just delete it. And don't worry about being perfect. This presentation that I've done so far has been far from perfect. I could always do it better. I'm sure if I did it again, I could do it better. But have we got value out of it? You can be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So how long then?
How long what?
Should the average video be, or does it depend?
Well, that's all getting technical. At this stage, I would say make it as long as it needs to be without getting boring. Because the worst thing that you can do is bore your audience. So just do it until you've finished and then shut up. Lots of people worry about making things optimal and ideal. And honestly, most of that stuff doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So
my podcast on my own, I do 20 minutes. If I'm with somebody, I'll do 40 minutes, and that really tends to work. But I've heard with videos, it's like 90 seconds. But does it not? It just depends what you're talking about.
Depends what you're talking about and depends on your audience. Joe Rogan, who's a podcaster, I think some of his went on for hours and hours. And there's another guy, Lex Friedman, who's a Russian guy who talks to scientists and stuff, and his go on for hours. And me being a geek, I'll sit and listen to someone talking about space technology till the cows come home. But the point is, inside YouTube, the algorithms and the analytics will tell you. So have a go and then look at the results. Everything you need to know is in the analytics. If people are getting bored, you'll see that they'll drop off. So next time, do a shorter one or make it less boring. If people are watching right to the very end, you might want to consider increasing the length because people are clearly still engaged right until the very end of the video.
And what do you use to put the opening and closing graphics on?
I don't typically use opening and closing graphics.
No, but like your channel art that you showed us.
Oh, I do mine in Photoshop, but there are other pieces of software which are much more simple to use, like Canva. Canva's a free one. But also, if you
I do all mine in Canva.
So what, you upload your video to Canva?
No, I just do my.
Oh yeah. No, I do my
to YouTube, but then I just add the JPEG from Canva.
So how do you add the JPEG to the video? Where do you do that bit?
You do that in YouTube. It gives you an option to change the thumbnail.
Right, okay.
So it's dead easy.
I think I've been trying to make it more complicated than it needs to be.
No, it's not. It's really easy.
There's
All
plenty
right.
of people on Fiverr that can do the mechanical stuff for you.
Yeah, I'm good when I
Yeah.
yeah.
Or VA probably can do it. I don't know. I tend to do stuff myself just because it's quicker than trying to tell other people what to do it, how to do it. But most people who are regular YouTube creators don't do their own stuff. They get other people to do it in cheaper parts of the world, frankly. You know, your time is more valuable than the people that do this, for a living and can do it a lot quicker and cheaper than you can. Any more questions before I move on?
I wanted to ask about when you said you can go to YouTube and look at what people are kind of looking for, what the demand is.
Yeah.
How are you best doing that?
The simplest way, and the way to do it for free, is to just go and use one of YouTube's suggested videos. So if I go into here, let's go to YouTube. I'll go home. I'm conscious of time, by the way. I don't mind, but are we about to get kicked off? Let's do cake making, just because. So cake making. Okay, so we can see if we put cake making here, people are searching for cake making for kids. People are searching for cake making recipe, cake making challenge, Korean cake making. You get the idea. We look for suggestions. Now, this is the free way of doing it. If you wanted to do this on steroids, then I would recommend a tool called TubeBuddy.
Oh, TubeBuddy. Yeah, I've heard of that.
There's also another one called vidIQ. My particular favorite for keyword research is TubeBuddy, for reasons which I won't go into right now. Otherwise, you will lose the will to live, I promise you. But TubeBuddy is definitely the best one.
So
Okay.
put in Akashic Records, because that's Marina's area.
Put in what, sorry?
Akashic.
I have no idea how you would.
AK.
Yeah.
ASHIC Records.
There you go. If that means anything to you, then that's great. Could you do an Akashic Records guided sleep meditation?
Yeah, most of mine are meditations are on there. Yeah.
I'm not sure what that one is.
No, I'm not. You know what? But he's on Instagram as well. So that's really funny.
You get the idea. So the reason these are coming up is because people are searching for them. So this is the demand in the demand supply equation that we talked about early on.
Brilliant. Thank you.
But what it doesn't give you is how much competition there is easily, which is the reason why TubeBuddy et al. Are definitely well worth, what little money they cost. I don't even think they're particularly expensive.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, I need to be in a meeting in about 4 minutes, so I'm going to move through and say the biggest reason, without a doubt, that people are not successful is that people give up before they're successful. Absolutely. I would say 99% of people, or maybe even more than that. It takes a long time, longer than people would think, to get successful because you're building an asset. It's exactly the same as the gym. I will say to people at the gym, I've been going for many years now, don't buy new trainers in January, because you'll be able to buy everybody else's trainers secondhand in April, because most people can't do anything consistently for more than 3 months, and therefore they don't receive the rewards that they would otherwise have gained had they done so. And I just wanted to very quickly point out a real example of that. This video is my biggest video. It's done nearly 85 million views. I really didn't want to make this video. It took me several days of difficult and frustrating editing, and I nearly didn't bother finishing it, and I nearly didn't bother uploading it. I uploaded it on April the 12th, 2016, and was really disappointed that it did nothing. I thought that was a complete and utter waste of time. It then, on June the 6th, 2019, started to take off. I did nothing. I just left it. Now, it's only made £13,000 for me, and that's because the kids sector is a very bad sector to go into for reasons which I won't go into. It used to be very lucrative. It's much less lucrative than it is now. But nevertheless, 13,000 quid, and it will continue to make money going forward ad infinitum for me. So had that been in a good sector rather than the kids sector, you could easily have added a couple of zeros to that. But the point here is not about the money. It's the point of working in 2016, but reaping in 2019. That's a long time horizon, isn't it? Not many people are capable of doing that because they will have given up and not produced any more videos once they'd seen that it took a while for that video to take off. By the way, this is by no means typical. Most videos take off much quicker than that. But I just think it's ironic that my best performing one took so long to get going. And, you know, it's difficult. It's a mental game. Same as going to the gym is a mental game.
And like I'm always saying, the day you plant the seed isn't the day you eat the fruit.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's just an example, really, of how long it can take.
Thank you.